What's up guys, Fast Eddie here, and today we're going to analyze Bart Simpson. You know, it's really sad that someone had to break it to Homer and Marge that this is what had happened to their son, but I guess that's what happens is people change and grow up. So before we get into this, shout out to Tix and the Captaining channel for the upload, and let's just start.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
I just got finished brushing my teeth, okay? What? I just got finished brushing my teeth.
Okay, so we basically have first sight of this guy. So, okay, he's coming in with some kind of black t-shirt, you know, short hair. This guy's just dressed appropriate for the time. I think this is sometime in the mid 2000s, so this is pretty much what you could wear out casually, what would be expected.
Alright. If you want something for the refrigerator, you can grab anything you want.
Dell's like, help yourself to the fridge. Alright. He doesn't need anything. He brought his own beverages. Don't you remember? So look, I think he went too far in. I think that Dell said to help himself to the fridge, and I think the fridge is over here. And he just like went directly. He's like following the voice. This guy's going the wrong way.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you doing?
There we go.
Put your seat right in this
Perfect.
And keep your hands on your pockets, please.
Immediately. So that's so as soon as Chris says that, I think that he immediately gives him the impression that he's somehow law enforcement, that he is coming off as law enforcement. You know, to be asked to keep your hands where a person can see them, that's something that a cop normally says, or someone in law enforcement. So I suspect that at this point in the interview, he thinks that Chris Hansen is a police officer.
Wait, have a seat right there. All right.
Have a seat.
What's going on? Not too much.
Not too much.
What's your name? I'm Corey.
Score.
Yeah.
See, this guy's talking all fast, like, so I mean, he's just like shooting back with these answers. And Hansen's smart. Hansen might be doing this intentionally. It's like, if you want to see if someone is lying, you could ask them questions that you know the answer to. So, you know, ask them if today's like Tuesday, and then ask them, you know, if their first name is Greg, if you know that it's Greg, and then watch them, and then ask them something that you're not sure of, and then you know, you could see if there's a deviation in their behavior, if they blink or if they lick their lips like a JPW. That would be a tick. So this is good. This guy is presumably telling the truth. You know, his name is Corey. Yeah, his name's Corey Ahia. I was fucking around with the Simpson shit. So yeah, I mean, he's so far responding quickly and presumably truthfully up to right now. But I don't think that's gonna be for much longer.
And your last name? It's Ahia.
He considered lying. That was good. That brief pause, he was like, fuck, what am I gonna tell him? He could have said fucking Smith. But no. So that's his name. So yeah, he's maintained honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? And how old are you?
You see, what's going on? This guy wants to know. He wants answers. But little does he know, he's only gonna get more questions.
I'm 21.
21.
21. Yeah.
And this guy looks really young for being 21. I think it's the absence of any facial hair. You know, some people just don't get very much facial hair. I don't get that much facial hair. You know, I get enough though. But yeah, sometimes a guy can look young if you don't have facial hair. But if this guy told me, you know, he was 17 from this image, I might believe it, you know. But
And who are you here to see, Corey? Well, Chrissy, she told me that she's 18.
You want to try again? No, so already yeah, so I'm glad to see that this guy's he's gonna go the JPW route, the lie route. So this guy's gonna be a storyteller.
18. Yeah.
18.
Now, what were you going to do with Chrissy? Just hang out and watch some DVDs.
See, but if she was 18, it wouldn't matter, right? If Chrissy was in fact 18. But you're not gonna say, you know, you're not gonna say that you would do anything sexual. But even if you did, according to your previous statement, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal, right?
I brought beer for myself.
Beer for yourself.
Beer for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What DVDs did you bring? I brought over 40-Year-Old Virgin and Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
So I remember the mid 2000s, and those movies were really popular. I remember they were just like they were comedies that pretty much everyone watched at that time. So and both of them are like kind of romantic comedies, but they're also crude enough to maintain the attention of guys. So it's kind of like a universally good comedy movie. So it makes sense that he'd bring those over.
And you said Chrissy was how old? 18.
18. Oh hell yeah! Dell comes out. I fucking love when Dell comes out. Look at that. And then so whenever Dell comes out, these guys are in a hole. Corey, he fell into a trap. And as soon as Dell comes out to give Hanson the additional paper, whether it's photos or whatever, the hole gets 10 feet deeper. You know, it's like the level of severity. It just intensifies. So I fucking love it. It's such a good flex to have Dell come out. Um, it just I'm sure like immediately his mind is just racing at this point, and you can tell he's just looking away. His mouth is kind of slightly open. This guy is just he's trying to just figure out what's going on.
You want to change that story?
You want to change it? Let's see.
You know what's that?
What's he looking? He didn't even answer. Sometimes silence speaks volumes, and when someone asks you a question and you can't even answer, and you just look at them sheepishly, normally that telegraphs the answer. So, I've said it before, if you're gonna lie, commit to the lie. Otherwise, you just come off looking like a fucking retard. He's
Now, the
nervous.
problem for you, Corey, is that I have the transcript. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and tell me what really happened, now is probably a good time to do it.
There's so much fear in his eyes. Like, this guy's scared. I don't see that much defiance. Right now, I just see fear. I just see fear. And I suspect that that's because, he must be somewhat intelligent. I bet this guy is somewhat intelligent. And I say that because he recognizes immediately the severity of the situation. Obviously, he's not that intelligent because he's gonna further incriminate himself, right? But I think that it's like some of these guys who are really calm. Maybe they just don't understand. I don't know. It's like maybe for a multitude of reasons they just aren't taking it seriously. But he's taking it very seriously.
All right, who are you?
Who are
I'll
you?
get to that in a minute. I need to know some information from you first. Okay.
That's good. See, so and he asked a question. Chris is giving him no control in this interaction. I mean, this guy has no control. So there's an asymmetrical distribution of information, because Chris is holding papers. Dell came out, gave him more papers, and there's an asymmetrical distribution of power. So obviously Hanson is running the show, and he's just here to fucking to ride along.
Tell me exactly what happened. We
Look, he can't even. He's just stalling. I mean, this guy can't speak off the cuff. Like he's one of those guys who probably just needs a few moments. And I mean, a lot of people like this. They just need some time to gather their thoughts and whatnot. I tend to be able to speak off the cuff fairly quickly. I do that often, but some people need to think more. I think this guy just can't. Maybe he doesn't trust his lying skills to start a really elaborate lie. But for whatever reason, he's being reluctant.
we started talking. I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
And
That's a long time. So this has been going on for a while. A couple weeks ago, 14 days, and that's still some of these guys go the exact same day. Some of them go within like an hour, right? Sorrentino and was Morrison another one? Donald Morrison. Milk and cookies. Some of these guys are Morrison. By the time he started the chat and got there, the milk would have still been cold. He could have had the decoy leave out some milk, or Hanson. The milk would have still been cold by the time he got there.
just wanted to meet up. I don't know.
You don't know. That's funny. You don't know. I don't know, man. What are you doing here? I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Well, we talked, and
You talked.
I mean, there was no specifics.
It's like he's trying to come up with a defense, and like he can't even figure out what defense he wants to use. So now it's like I don't know if he's gonna say that he didn't say that they were gonna have sex, because I'm sure that he did. Um, but it's like he hasn't even figured out a defense yet, and you'd have to figure that out fairly quickly in an interaction like this. Round two, Dell comes back out again. It's perfect.
Go ahead.
Further frazzles him.
No specifics about
Okay.
it, Corey.
I don't know. I mean,
He's so frazzled. I think Dell coming back out just fucking sent him spiraling into into terror. He was even quivering. He was quivering right there. Let's go back and see if we can see that quiver.
No specifics about it, Corey.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
She did not tell you she was 18, did she?
in her profile it said that she was 18. Yeah,
18
but
in her profile.
You want to try it again?
no, that
I love that line. You want to try again? It's so good. It's like it's playful enough to be funny, but it also at its core lets them know that he knows they're lying. So it's just a great line. You want to try again?
that's what I remembered seeing.
Do you remember seeing?
That's what you remember, but she told you something different later, didn't she?
And I don't remember.
You don't remember? And that's a fairly. I'm not going to say it's a good defense, but to say that you don't remember something, it's impossible for someone to prove what you remember or what you don't remember, ultimately. A person may be able to prove what you've done, but no one can prove what you remember. So, of course he remembers, yeah, he's lying, but I think that someone could make that maybe they could make that defense work, who fucking knows. Hopefully not, but maybe.
You don't remember.
No.
You don't remember? No, I was confident.
Can we just get to what?
What's your
He wants answers. Once again, though, he's not running the show. You're here for the ride, man.
What was your plan here tonight?
What's your
I
plan?
was just gonna drink and hang out and watch some DVDs, and that was it.
She says, I tasted beer. You don't like it, do you? Not really. Yeah, I have to get you some chick beer. What's that? Smirnoff Ice. What kind of flavored beer? What kind of beer did you bring here?
I brought myself
Well, let's see.
a couple of Bud Selects, and I brought Smirnoff.
Smirnoff Ice.
No, it's Twisted Green Apple.
So that's kind of what this girl is.
I don't.
That's so good. Okay, so right there. So I guess the decoy was talking to him in the chat about bringing Smirnoff Ice, like that fruity shit. And I guess it tastes sweet. Like I've had friends who prefer Smirnoff Ice, they prefer that, so they drink it over beer. But yeah, so the decoy asked him to bring that, and he brought like basically that. He brought an equivalent. He just brought Twisted Apple, which I don't know, like maybe it's a flavor of that, but it's basically the same shit. So then Hanson goes, Smirnoff Ice. You brought exactly what the decoy wanted. And he goes, no, this is Twisted Green Apple. Like, because it's a different flavor of alcoholic beverage, it's not the same thing. Like, that's such a ridiculous, because, I mean, I guess it's true. Like, it's not the exact same item, but it's still alcohol, so that doesn't mean that you're not guilty. Like, you're still fucking guilty. So, and another time I was on the Temple TCAP forum today, and someone, I forget, but they were talking about how a detective might say, oh, so, you showed up to meet a 12-year-old, and then the predator would go, no, she said she was 13, because that sounds better than 12, but it's still incriminating. So it's like, this guy's so, I mean, it's like, sometimes people will take an opportunity to gain a small victory, and they'll lose the war. And it's always great when we capture it on film.
know.
Well, it says right here.
Okay, so
Why are you fibbing to me?
Why are you fibbing to me?
Why?
okay, so what
Why are you fibbing to me? That's good.
what all is going on here?
Again,
I mean,
he keeps asking. Chris
You
isn't
knew she
ready.
was underage.
Chris isn't ready, bro. He's not ready to tell
I
you.
didn't know how underage, but
How old?
That doesn't matter. So to say you didn't know how, it doesn't matter. Underage is underage. I guess it matters, because your sentence becomes progressively harsher the younger that you go, but it's still a crime. So that's a pretty retarded fucking defense.
How old are you? Chrissy says 12.
That's
Are you
disgusting.
serious?
See?
Yeah, laugh out loud. How old
Are you serious?
25. Are
Fuck
you in
this
elementary
guy.
school? I'm in 7th grade. Oh.
How could you fucking ask that? To even ask that, if a grown man asks, "Are you in elementary school?" You should never ask that. There's no reason to ever talk to someone that young online. I mean, it's just not good. No good is going to come from it. I can't imagine that any parent is going to want their child to talk to some grown fucker. So that's just fucked. Unless you're like talking shit on Steam, like playing a game, that's different. But you know what I mean.
Okay, that's cool, I guess.
so what exactly is going on?
That's like the fourth time he's asked. You're only gonna know when Chris wants you to know, fucker.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Well,
You said, have you had sex?
Well, okay.
Kind of, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, what's wrong? I'm sad. Why? Be right back. Okay.
Be right back, okay?
Okay,
Chris
well-
is reading the banter.
Well, do you like having sex with him?
Well,
You get off? I don't know.
You get off. That's
okay, well,
wow. I'm surprised they said that. That's normally Chris would like hint at that, but he just explicitly is like, "Oh, did you get off?" That just seems like a sexually explicit thing to mention for TV.
let's just cut to it, okay?
Let's
I
get to
talked
it.
to her a couple of times, and this is my first time ever meeting someone like this. And
Your first time.
That doesn't matter at all. So to say that it's your first time, you're still committing the crime. Nothing that he has said has even came close to being a justification or defense. So I guess no wonder this guy fucking basically just remains quiet. Like anything he says is just gonna fuck himself over even more.
yes,
I hear that a lot.
I've met people
You've
that
met
are
people.
over 18. I've never met anyone underage before.
So what made you decide, Corey, tonight here in California to, I'm going to go over to this town and meet a 12-year-old girl and bring her alcoholic beverages?
I don't know. It was very stupid. I don't.
I don't know that this guy maybe woke up that day with that intention. He might have just been looking for any female. Like he was horny as fuck and he was just looking for any female. And then, managed to. The only one that responded was the decoy, so he put all his energy into it. But, that's not a defense, but, we just don't know that he woke up with intent. Like, certainly he had intent once the opportunity presented itself. But, some of these guys, they're Chuck Hardings, who were looking for minors. And I don't know that Ahia was one of them. But he's certainly a fucking piece of shit for trying to do this with a 12-year-old.
Well, Corey, what would have happened had I not been here?
Actually, he probably does have intent. I don't think that that's an opportunity. That's just disgusting. This guy's disgusting, so he probably did have intent.
I would have drinking my beer, watched the DVD, and I
Drank a beer.
don't know. I've never.
So, I mean, at least he's acknowledging that the alcohol was for the decoy. He didn't say he would drink a Smirnoff. In Alonzo Hampton Wade's interrogation, it's funny. Like, he says that the mics and the bush are both for him. But it's like, if you're drinking beer, you're not going to drink, like, one beer and then a fruity-ass beverage. I mean, you might do that if you're, like, hella hard up, but I can't imagine that these guys would do that. Like, it makes sense. If it's a man and a woman and they're hanging out, like, the guy's probably going to drink beer and the female's probably going to drink the various fruity beverages that are there. That's kind of how it is, at least in America, for dating.
I've never done this before.
You've never done it.
You sound pretty practiced here, so are you going to get dressed all sexy for me?
Yeah.
Well, he is practiced. He said that he's done this before with adults, so yeah, he is practiced.
Really? Like what? I don't know. What kind of underwear do you wear? This is a 12-year-old girl.
I know. I know.
He has no defense. He has no
I mean,
defense.
if I'll
Come
never
on,
go
Bart.
on Yahoo again. I
You'll
don't.
never go on Yahoo again. It doesn't matter. You've displayed such poor judgment, and you have tried to engage in conduct that is so vile that it's not about avoiding Yahoo. It's about avoiding anyone who's a minor at this point because of what you've done. So, yeah, avoiding Yahoo is not gonna. It's not gonna right the wrong that you've committed here, Ahia.
I don't need this.
You don't need this. What a fucking prick. What a fucking prick. I hate this guy to say that he doesn't need this. It's like you would only say you don't need this, like, if you really didn't. Like, if you're helping someone move or something, if your friend asks you to help him move, and while you're helping him move, like, they're just being hell of a dick to you, like, if they just start, like, taking out anger and frustration at you, then you could tell them and be like, man, like, I don't need this. Like, I'm helping you out. But, no, this guy, for him to say he doesn't need this, it's just like, fuck you. Like, you deserve this. Don't say you don't need this. You fucking deserve this. You deserve all of it.
This was a mistake, and I'm sorry.
So you
It
just
was a
decided
mistake. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry. Wow, this guy's he's that was so convincing. He's so remorseful.
today for the first time in your life that you were going to go visit a 12-year-old.
I have never done it before. I swear to you.
But there is a lot
I believe that he hasn't done that, but that doesn't make it better.
of sexually charged.
I understand what you're saying, and it was a mistake, and it's never going to happen again.
What do you do for a living?
I installed
No, he should say. He has to just ask him, "What did you used to do for a living?"
all phone systems.
Phone systems.
So you go in people's homes?
No, I don't. It's all business.
All business.
It's all
Yeah.
business. It's all business, baby. It's fucking cream. Castro's everything around me. That should be a fucking, like a good quote. It's all business.
And what do you suppose your bosses are going to think?
What are your bosses gonna think? That's so good. Oh man, that's another flex too. Chris has no sympathy for this guy. And I'm really glad because he's just such a fucking unlikable prick. But it's really good that Chris has no sympathy. He's just laying into this guy, asking him what his bosses are gonna think. He's now asking him to basically use his imagination to imagine what might happen after. And Chris is asking him to imagine what his bosses are gonna think, and yet Chris hasn't even revealed who he is. So it's like this guy's just there. There's so many scary thoughts going through his head. It's fucking awesome.
They're not going to like it.
They're not gonna like it. No, they're not gonna like it. That's to say the least, man. That's to say the least. Hey, did you see Corey on YouTube last night, man? Can you imagine like showing up to work? And that's crazy because a lot of these guys like have jobs, so people are some of these people like presumably people know them in the real world. So to us they're these like mythic figures, these mythic fucking retards, but for other people they were their coworkers or fucking neighbors.
Corey, do you watch TV?
Do you watch TV? He's good there.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Yeah.
watch Dateline NBC?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I need to tell you something because
Okay, right there. Oh man. Look at this guy. I never really noticed the lack of chin that he had, but you can really see it there. You could actually see a lot about this guy that I haven't noticed. That's kind of crazy. So this guy is, yeah, he's overweight. He has a double chin. Um, he has earlobes that I can't tell if they're connected. There's kind of shitty quality, and it looks like he might be balding up here too. That might be a bald spot. I'm not sure. But and he's doing his hair. He's just like combing it back, like I don't know if he's trying to spike it or if he's just trying to comb it back and it ends up like that. But we'll never know. But then we go to his face. This guy, that is a look of terror. At this point, you know, back to the metaphor of being in a hole when Chris is interrogating you and it getting deeper. At this point, the hole has just became infinite. He's free falling right now. This guy's just in complete free fall, and there's no end. He's free falling into the abyss. psychologically and emotionally. So let's watch as all this unfolds.
I'm Chris Hansen
Watch
with
that.
Dateline
Oh
NBC.
my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I've never done this before.
His eyes are bugging out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Now,
god,
if
he
there's
shakes it.
anything
This fucking cameraman is in the way. That's kind of crazy too. It's like we have half of his face. That looks like almost like the taxi driver, like a poster for a taxi driver, like the old movie with the fucking where he shaves his head into a mohawk at the end. That could be like a fucking taxi driver scene.
you want to tell us,
No,
to shed light on this situation, we'd
Shed
like
light.
to hear it. If not, obviously, we can't keep it here. You're free to go.
I've
Take your stuff.
I've never done this before, and I don't.
So it's surprising that at this point he is still talking. A lot of these guys, as soon as they see the cameras, they just bolt. Like it's like a magnetic. It's like they're being repelled. Um, like a positive and a negative magnet just trying. It's like as soon as one gets close, like the other is just going to proportionally get further away. And I'm surprised that this guy is gonna now try and explain himself, seeing as he's such a fucking retard, seeing his total ineptitude to create a defense. But let's see what he can muster. Maybe he'll convince us.
have a problem telling you that.
And why should we believe you?
Why should we
You
believe?
don't have to if you don't like.
That's so good. I love that question. Why should we believe? You don't have to if you don't want to. What kind of answer is that? When someone asks you, why should it just imagine that? Why should I believe you? Well, you don't have to if you don't want. Um, I mean, I guess you don't have to believe something if you don't want. That doesn't make it untrue, but that statement doesn't gain credibility. Like Ahia isn't gaining credibility when he responds to that question in that way.
If you wouldn't like to, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
But
Okay.
virtually every human being.
He could have just said it's the truth. For him to say you don't have to buy it is basically Ahia like kind of winking and saying, it's like Ahia winking and saying, "Come on, man, you know that I'm not gonna admit to this, but I'm forced to stick to this story, you know." Um, so yeah, and I mean, he's just looking at Chris like he's defeated. This is just the face of a defeated man.
Who has walked into this house has said the same thing.
You walked into this
Could it
statement.
be possible that everyone just decided tonight for the first time to walk in here?
No, I understand what you're saying, and it very well could be that.
This guy can't even fucking make a sentence. Like he can't even speak. He's already like stumbling over his words. This guy does not do well under pressure, and it's so awesome that once he's already dug a hole for himself, like the seriousness of it, the cameras come out. It's like this guy already was flustered, and then once the cameras came out, it's like especially now he's really fucked. He's probably paralyzed. That's probably why he hasn't left because he can't move. He just can't feel his legs.
I could be lying to you.
You could be like, what the fuck? Why would you ever say that? Oh my god.
And it very well could be that. I could be lying to you.
Why would you ever say that? This guy's. I can't even handle this fucker right now. This guy's just a liar.
What should happen to you?
Oh, hopefully I learn my lesson, and that's the end of it.
Oh, of course. Oh man. And he's pulling the Donald Morrison. Thanks for kicking me in the pants and setting me straight. Or the Lee Greer. This has been a warning. Thanks. Let me go back to my life. But it's just not gonna happen like that. So this is just him asking. He's just asking. Hopefully, he's asking to confirm. He's saying, right? He's asking. So I've learned my lesson, right? That's the worst that happens, right? Let's see what Hansen says. I don't know. Hansen might flex on him one last time because Hansen feels no remorse or guilt for this guy.
You're free to go.
You're free to go.
All right,
Go ride. Look at his shirt. Kristen have said, "You're free to go ride." That would have been even good. That would have been the perfect fucking way to conclude this interaction.
Turn the cameras off now. I need to
Can you
ask
turn
you
the cameras
a
off
couple
now?
questions.
Cameras have to stay on, but you're welcome to ask me whatever you like.
Okay. How does this work as far as your taping rights? I mean, do I have to sign a waiver for it?
Are you kidding me? Can you even imagine if that were the case? Like this guy's so once again, now he's really, I think that he's asking and he's also pleading. I think that he's trying to negotiate basically with Hansen. He wants to know what's going on, and he's letting Hansen know that he's not going to agree to. He's basically saying, "I'm not okay with being recorded," and I think he's trying to negotiate with Hansen to that end. Let's see how Hansen responds to that.
Because I never agreed to be on camera.
Oh, what a
I don't
surprise!
understand how that works.
You don't have to.
There we go. You don't have to.
Why is that?
Because it's a news program.
So now he's gonna get a lesson in the law right now, I guess.
Okay.
You made the choice to come in here.
Oh, I understand that, but
So yeah, I guess that the and I should research this. I'm not 100%, but the justification that Hansen just gave for their filming is that it's a news story, and that's the first statement. And I guess that allows them to film certain things. And then the second part is that he willingly came into the home. So it's like they're not going out. I mean, I guess they could knock on the guy's door and shit, but they're not doing that. It's like you fell into like yeah, there was a decoy, but you also came to us. Like we didn't come to you. So that's kind of like two reasons as to why. That's a fucking double whammy as to why this guy's gonna get analysis videos made of him, years later by me, by yours truly.
I just wanted to know how that worked. So
How that
Since
works.
we're doing a story, we've made no final decision as to who is going to be in the story when it finally goes on television.
yeah.
And so those are decisions we'll make down the road. If you care to contact us, I'll give you a card. Just hang on right there.
Okay.
Keep your
That's good. And of course this guy's gonna take a card from Hansen. That's great. I wonder if Hansen keeps the cards on his in his pocket or something. I wonder if he has to go and grab them or something. Because he only gives them to predators who ask. I don't think that he volunteers the card. So I wonder how they do that. If he just has like 10 cards each day, like ready in his pocket, like, oh fuck, he asked. He gives them one.
hands on your
Okay, no problem.
Okay, and I'm gonna
Fuck, I would love to get one of those cards. We should see if anyone has these cards. I really wanna find out what the story was with these cards. That would just be an interesting thing to wonder. To get some answers to.
get your card. Just hang
All
on
right.
there. So my email is on there, as well as my
Okay.
more than welcome to call.
So yeah, he walked
Okay.
away. Let's see. I was actually spaced out.
So my email is on there. As well
Yeah,
as
so
my
he
office.
walked away, so it's not in his
More than
pocket.
welcome to call.
But someone has
Okay.
him.
All right. Well,
It's a fairly big card. Yeah, I would love to see what that card. So I guess it had his email. I wonder if it says if it's just like his work card, Go all fucking Patrick Bateman on him. Look at that. That's perfect. Big ass camera. Oh man, that guy's right in his face. That guy's right in his fucking face. That thing is probably like 6 inches away. That's fucking awesome. The quality here is shit, but that guy's so close. That's hilarious.
Can you please get that?
Can you move, please? Fuck, that was great. Alright, guys. Until next time.